Very direct. Only when it counts.
Of course, it has. Hey everybody, welcome. It's December 1st, 2022. We are live in Laguna Beach. It is World AIDS Day 2024. Laguna Beach HIV Advisory Committee is your host. My name is Andy G. Garza, and I will be with you for the next hour doing interviews, talking to guests, giving you general information, answering any questions you might have about HIV and AIDS. There we go. How are you doing? I'm running behind today for some reason, but there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're out in Laguna Beach, California. It's a beautiful sunny day. December 1st, 2024, Sunday, here in Laguna Beach. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, do us a favor. Would you share this on your page so that other folks can watch along with you? If you're watching us on YouTube, scroll down, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to let you know every time there's a new show on the air. And there's a new microphone, so I hope people can hear me. I'm going to get one of my producers right now to get on his phone and see if he can hear me. Wayne, our photographer, is here today. He's right here behind me. There you go. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, how's it going?
You're going to be my first guest, okay, so come jump in before you get all busy. This is your second year. Well, first of all, for those of you who don't know Wayne is my co-host on the Crab and Goat Show. If you're not watching us on Monday nights at 5 p.m., what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? We have been friends now for about 12 years.
Yeah, I think a little longer.
2012?
Yes.
So coming on 13 years?
Yes, yeah.
Lucky 13?
Yes. I think so.
Tell me a little bit about you, what you do, and then I'll ask you some questions.
So yeah, do you want me to hold it or do you want to? Okay. So what I will say, since this is my second year doing it, I'm so happy to be here and volunteering myself up to photograph the event and just be a part of this. Last year was really moving with hearing the reading of the names and just, coming together for this advocacy, coming together for bringing more awareness. And the more awareness that we can bring to AIDS, to, LGBTQIA+, all of that, it is so important. I'm taking over. And just that awareness part. I know for me, I was raised Mormon. I knew I was gay from a very young age, and there was so much fear around it. It seemed like AIDS was something that was just going to happen to me, which is unfortunate. It's not by any means how it actually works, but there are so many LGBTQIA+ youth out there who are still in religions in that way that really create so much confusion around what it actually is. So I was very thankful for Daniel. When I did meet him in 2012, I was I was about late 20s and still I thought I knew somewhat about it. I had researched it some, but there was still a lot of fear around it. So I'm so proud of Daniel for all of his advocacy efforts and the ways that he shows up in so many different ways for the community and continuing to demystify this. And really, education is such an important part of awareness with this. And, there's so much more that we can do, I think, from a medical perspective, but we need to remove this stigma altogether. So I'm so proud to be in Daniel's life and all the ways that he has helped me to open my eyes and ways that I can advocate, not just for, HIV, AIDS, but in my life, what ways have I been impacted as well? So I'm blessed to have you as my friend, Daniel. I was over there checking, make sure this is a new microphone. I'll make sure that you guys can hear us okay. But my part-time producer today, Lee Rose, who I'll bring over in just a sec. Here we are. But wait, thank you so much for being here. It's the second time volunteering with us, taking photos. You can check out the photos. You can check out the photos later on our Facebook page. So we'll be able to post those. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you. My pleasure. Let me
do this because we want. There we go. This is one of my other very good friends. I can't say best friend because it'll go to his head, but we've known each other for about what 20 years now.
Yeah, at least
20
20
some.
years. A little over 20.
Um, why are you here today? What brought you out?
Well, it's to bring more awareness and to celebrate the lives, of people who have survived HIV, as well as to remember the ones who are not with us anymore, and just to you know have that sense of community and and then and just bring more awareness to HIV,
Yeah.
AIDS, and then what the needs of those that are dealing with this every day, every day.
Yeah, both of us. May I say that we've both been uh, affected
Yes.
by HIV. For those of you that know my story, September of 2000 was when I was diagnosed. So this is my 24th World AIDS Day being diagnosed.
I this coming Easter will be my 39th Easter in surviving. So,
I've known him for every time I hear that, it's like wow.
yeah, I was told by a doctor in Mississippi, being the first person tested in that area of 3 states, that to take me home and take care of me to my mother, and that I wouldn't live to see Easter. And that is why that holiday is even more important to me, because I have survived. And it's every day is Easter for me in my everyday survival.
And for perspective, what year was that?
That was, well, it started in 1985, and because of the situation in Mississippi, my my test my uh, test got screwed up. So it wasn't until February of 1986, I think. Yeah, towards the end of February.
So 1986, and for people, doctor's behind me, so he's going to go next to be interviewed. He my bad. For everybody perspective, the 80s, give us an idea of Louisiana in the 80s and
This was actually
Mississippi in the 80s. I met him when he was living in Louisiana. Mississippi, the 80s, HIV, what was the atmosphere like?
I used to sit in the bakery at Mississippi State University and listen to the people, what they said they would do if they found out who I was. And it was not pretty. It was a reign of terror, because even up through close to the 90s, it was sadness, because every day you were losing someone. Every day, just about, and I'm not exaggerating that. I lost count. I quit going to funerals. I lost count. And the fear and the stigma that was attached to it, what it did to my family. My family was affected. They won't admit they lost their jobs because of this. And it was a constant fight. So if there's anything that I can do, to eradicate that stigma, that's what I'm here for, I think.
What were the conversations like in the let's say it in the gay areas, like the bars and restaurants and stuff in Mississippi? Were there gay areas?
Well, there weren't any gay areas. I mean, they didn't find out there was a gay bar in Mississippi till 20 years later.
Oh, wow.
And people didn't really talk, because the fear in Mississippi was we couldn't get the gay cancer. And I got it. They didn't call it that then, but they called it GRID and something else. So yeah, it just, it was, you just lived in fear, and the fact that I was dying for 20 years, and then I got told I was going to live for 20 years. I didn't know which way to go.
I'm glad you brought that up. For those of you that have known me for a while, I'm a Reiki master and energy worker, so I'm very big on working the mind, body, and spirit. Can I break those down? Mentally, what does it do to you when the doctor says you're not going to make it?
You just become numb. You just become well, for me, I mean, it's, I was numb for a while, but then I decided I'm going to make the best of it, and I stayed within a very few group of people who were who helped me through it. And I have a cousin who's passed away, and his girlfriend at that time. Had it not been for them and Patti LaBelle's New Attitude song, I don't think I would be here today, because they would ask me, "Have you got your hat on straight?" And that meant, "Are you doing okay? Are you surviving?" And most times it was yes, but there were times it was no, because everything that come along with it. And I didn't take the meds at first, because the meds were they were, to me, more damaging, and they were much harder to live with the side effects, than it was to live without them. But also the fear, I isolated a whole lot. So, and I think a lot of us did.
And you kind of just mentioned it right now, that those words, that phrase, the doctor's voice, maybe the space, does it ever leave your mind?
No, it doesn't. Not till this day. Even to this day, I still hear it resonating, on the different things that were happening. And then if you don't do this, then you're not going to be here much longer. And I don't know what I've been doing, but I'm still here,
And then physically, 39 years?
39 years.
Physically, what has it done to your body?
Well, as now that I have gotten to the young age of 60, which I wasn't supposed to see.
We're young chickens, by the way.
The natural aging process takes its toll, but I have, it's I'm trying to think of what to say. The effects, you deal with. You just have to. I think having a positive attitude, even with my friends who have cancer, one thing I'll tell them, that what's going to get you through this is to have a positive attitude. Now, I may have that bah humbug attitude on the outside, but on the inside, I have to, be comfortable with myself and know that I could be hit by a car. I could die of a heart attack quicker than this disease. Yeah. But then, I still have to respect my body, which we don't always do that with diet and exercise, but I'm doing better about that, to take care of our bodies, because this is all we got, and we're not promised a tomorrow.
And then finally, spiritually, he is one of the funniest people I know. There's not a time we go out that we are not cracking up. So I know kind of where your spirit is, but how you talk about staying optimistic, or how do you keep your spirit sane? Aside from hanging out with me.
Well, you are my entertainment sometimes. It's amazing what we can come up with, when I have a little ball to, a little punch, never mind. I grew up in a very Baptist family, but I developed my own spirituality out of that. And in my works through the years, I have dealt with a lot of different religious people, religious orders, or whatever religions. But it's with my own spirit within myself, and my communication with the higher power that I call God, that has kept me as insane. As sane as I am, and it's still scary. Yeah. There was a time in my life where I love it when people come to me and they're talking about their rehabilitation or their whatever they've gotten over, how they found God or found Jesus. And I just tell them, that's funny. I never lost him. I talk to him every day, Yeah. And whatever power, being out here in California, I've learned, a lot of, I'm not politically correct, people. Just if I offend you, I'm sorry. I'm not politically correct. And I ain't from California. So I rely on that. I have to have that faith, that blind faith.
Don't you believe, because I believe this all the time, that my God has a good sense of humor?
Oh my God!
So,
yes.
So that's why he puts me in the situations
that he does
you
in my life
to see what I can find the funny out of it. Because even my 24 years, people have told me, how do you keep optimistic?
24 years
of the diagnosis. I am very proud to be 53 years old. Thank you, folks. But we keep the optimism, because what else do we have left?
No, you have to. You have to. And you have to be able to laugh at myself as much as I laugh at you, and other things. And that's what keeps us strong. And that's what really keeps us strong, because I love this man to death. And we have been through a lot together, whether I was with you or not. There were days that I was at a loss, because I was so far away from you at that time when you were going through your cancer. I've been very blessed with a lot of other people. I've lost all of my extended moms, and now I have to really, and a lot of my friends, and those were just the cycle of life. Those weren't because of what we face every day. And I've now had to really rely on people like, what's your name again?
Paco.
Yeah, that's not what you, never mind. So yeah, and Wayne and everything, and just having that sense of humor and camaraderie and our faith, because we do have a similar faith, and I mean, and even though I was brought up Baptist, yeah, so
Can't even get the words out.
yeah, I know, it gets a little tongue twisting. So yeah, but yeah, that's my main thing, just good sense of humor, strong faith. We cry sometimes. We have to, because that helps cleanse the soul and get us to where we can see a better path.
So unfortunately, and this is the last question, so you can go and enjoy the networking. And there are still people being diagnosed today. For somebody who is newly diagnosed, what message do you have for them?
Well, before I do that, when I first was out, I was just terrified to tell anybody anything about me. And then when I met younger people, I was very staunch and very adamant with these young people on how to protect themselves, because they didn't want this disease. They didn't want, well, it's not disease, this condition, and then they come back to me, and I have to apologize to them, because they come back to me and say, oh, I was diagnosed, and I forget that they're terrified, but I become angry, and I've learned not to be angry with them, and I'm not angry at them, I'm angry at the situation. And yet I have to be more empathetic with them and let them, in the fact that they're starting out with their fear, what I've already lived through. And so, have a support system. You got to have a strong support system. And that's another thing, that I do have a strong support system here. And I have a strong family, even though, we can't pick our family, but we can choose our friends. And I have a lot of extended family. And so for somebody who's newly diagnosed, because it is still happening, it's not gone away. And it's just, be aware. Don't be afraid to question. Don't be somebody's status. I hate saying status, but status. Don't be afraid to use protection, because it saves lives, and having this condition, it is no joyride. It is not. Every day is a different day, and every day something else is coming up, and this is the only life you've got. And I've been given 40 extra years. Well, actually 41, because I lived a rough life getting out from home. So give or take. So there is a higher power here, and have whatever it is that you have as your higher power, lean heavily on it. Yes.
Well, thank you, Papa. I love you. I'm glad you're here. All right, so go network, say hi to people. Thank you for joining us. For those of you watching us on the channels, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to put them up, and I will make sure to look through and post any comments that you might have. Again, I'm Daniel G. Garza. It is December 1st, 2024. It's World AIDS Day. I'm here in Laguna Beach at the main beach in Cobblestone Park. This event is hosted by the Laguna Beach HIV Advisory Committee, which I'm very proud to be one of the members. I think I'm going to take my jacket off in a minute. Adriana, our chair, just got here, so I'm going to bring her over in just a second so she can chat with us and talk about why we're here and why she does what she does. So I'm going to see if she's available. Hi, sweetheart.
Corazon, how are you, my dear?
I'm good. How are you? Come on
I'm
over.
terrific. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back this year. That's fantastic.
You look
As usual.
You look very nice today.
Oh, thank you, hon. I came prepared. You never know. It's a beautiful sunset. Can't have a better venue. Can't have a better climate or people. And it's beautiful to be here. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. You get to see. And the only thing you don't feel is the warmth of everyone that's coming to the table and of this wonderful committee that I'm proud to be a member of.
And folks don't know that Southern California weather is very sneaky.
Yes, it is.
'Cause
That's
right
why
now,
you've been.
right now it's beautiful, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. Let's shut down the sun.
Yeah, and it gets a little chilly, and I just can't came prepared.
So I know we ask the same question every time, but please
No,
can you tell
no.
them who you are, what you do, and what you do with the committee.
Sure. For those that don't know me, I'm Adriana Nieto Sayaj. Actually a clinical nurse, an all ER nurse by nature. I've had the privilege of working at the community clinic now for about, I'm going to say 27 years.
Wow.
Um, it's a community clinic based in the city of Laguna Beach. We cater to everyone from prenatal all the way to geriatric. My former medical director, Dr. Bent, would say from the womb to the tomb. I used to
And
say,
I'm somewhere in between there.
I used to say, don't say that. It was just so But now I find myself repeating that story. So it is clicky there, and it's true. In addition to that, a few years ago, someone asked me to be a member of the city's HIV advisory committee. A couple of people, including our wonderful person here, our host and MC, Dan and Dr. Jorgensen. And I said, sure, no problem. Within a year and a half, then I was given the throne to carry on the chair. I had big shoes to fill. Hopefully, I've made you proud. And like you said, he can never leave, so he's always here. So it's not like he ever left.
So in case you didn't figure out, I was the chair prior, and I served. Usually, you serve for 2 years. I served for 3, and then I needed to retire. But it's like a mob.
Higher.
It's like the mob. Like you never really leave, and they brought me back in because here we are. So tell me what. 27 years work at the clinic.
27 years.
And
yes.
working with the HIV community. What are some of the big changes you've seen in this last couple of years?
Oh, wow. We've had several changes, and I think all for the better. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of light. It's no longer a death sentence, as we all know. I think now that we're moving more into our baby boomers becoming older and more of a geriatric patient population, I think it's important, not just for HIV patients, but for all chronic conditions, whether it's, diabetics or hypertension, or those suffering cancer, any long term, people are living longer, and I think we need to address everything that comes with that, including the trendy topic right now, which is I'm glad it's been brought to the table, which is mental health. Also, the importance of keeping that health checkup, that routine. Maybe we're not in our 20s or 30s, but you know what? We still need to see the doctor. We still need to get our vaccines, whether it's our flu vaccine, monkeypox vaccine, or our COVID. I mean, whatever tools are out there to keep us healthy is one of the best investments we can do. We talk about richness and things like that, but health is something that no money can buy.
Yep.
And so we need to be our best advocates. I feel honored to always have been in the nursing field. And in the nursing field, we were trained to always be advocates for patients. And now I've seen a big switch where patients are really standing up and asking good questions and asking, what are the pros, what are the cons of that medication before taking a medication or a vaccine, if that's, the sense of it. But we need to think about now and next 5, 10 years. What can we do for prevention? What can we do to maintain that healthy stream, whether it's sleeping a good 8 hours, eating nutrition? I mean, nutrition, we live in California. The weather's beautiful. There's always different beautiful venues to do exercise, whether it's walking around your home. I'm sure you all live in beautiful neighborhoods. We're so blessed. Oh, going down to the beach. It doesn't need to be an expensive gym, right? You can just go around your block or go to the mountains. Go. You don't need to go
We're in
more than an
California. You can
hour
pretty much go
anywhere. And
Yeah.
so, it's so wonderful to live here. It's a pitch for California. Yes, I know. But
We don't work with a city area, but we work with a city area on the beach. Let me ask you this question.
sure.
When it comes to HIV, we were just talking to Lee, who is 35 years, 39 years diagnosed. I'm 24.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the shame, the stigma, the secrecy of HIV has it lessened? Are we still stuck in that space?
I think there's a generation gap. And what do I mean by that? I think that us folks are still concerned about the stigma. I've had the pleasure of having Lee in our clinic. And so I think a couple of things. One, it's very important to always keep, if you're possible, if you're not, flying back and forth, keep your same provider, keep your same doctor for several reasons. One, you get to establish a report. And very important, he knows what has worked for you and what hasn't worked for you in the past. He'll have an inventory of medications, of conditions, and he knows you really, really well. If you ever have to switch doctors, make sure you take all of that information over to the other doctor. And a wise note is keep a copy for yourself. Having said that, I've seen a lot of changes. I think this new generation is very open, which I'm very thankful. They seem to be more empathetic about transgender. They are very vocal, and with that, I think there's an increased public awareness and an increased acceptance. However, once again, we are blessed to be in California. That is not the same situation nationwide, unfortunately, even though we're in 2024. Um, Different areas, even including different USA territories, islands are not as accepting. So you have to be careful who you're around with, just because of a safety factor, and know your friends and know your medical home where you feel comfortable. I think that awareness and education still are priorities. As our committee, we really know the impact of that and pushing that agenda forward. It never ends. We need to advocate for openness, transparency, and public acceptance. It's very important, and I think that doing HIV testing should be part of the norm of any physical exam. And I find it at certain places you still have to actually advocate for yourself and say I need an HIV exam. So, like I said, it's territorial, geographic, but I do see a difference in the generations.
Good.
I think the next generation is more open, more accepting, and I think they're going to be very good advocates for themselves and very vocal. And so I applaud them, and I applaud you guys for being here, for live streaming, and for getting the word out, and for joining us today on such an important day.
And before I let you go to network and
No worries,
socialize,
honey.
a comment, or what can you say to people that are still afraid to talk about sex, HIV, sexuality?
It's okay to be afraid. I understand the scaredness. You just need to disclose it to one person. And it can be someone as anonymous as the 988 number. Well, now you're going to say, what is that? That's a USA national mental health number. And these people are sworn for HIPAA, meaning confidentiality. They've gone through everything. They get thousands of calls a day. I hope that gives you some relief. Maybe disclosing it to an anonymous person is the first step of getting you to verbalize it out loud. And then you take it step by step at your comfort and at your level, but moving forward.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I'll let you
Also,
to go greet the people.
I
And
just want to say one more thing.
yes, of
Sorry,
course.
hon. I want to thank you all, and I want to thank this wonderful man here, Dan. He is fantastic. And I also want to have you see people behind the scenes that make this possible. Getting our pictures in the newspaper, getting our flyers out there. There are a lot of people that are not here. One of them is Renee, our graphic designer, Nicole Sickman, and Wayne. He's here. Why don't you come on over, honey? I want to introduce you guys to this wonderful man, Wayne. He comes year after year, of course, because of the relationship and a little push from, just a tiny little push from
Much for
Dan.
me.
How can you say no to this beautiful venue and these beautiful people, right?
Exactly.
Thank
Yes.
you so much for coming, Dan.
Of
We really
course.
appreciate
Happy
it.
to be here.
And thank you guys for joining us on such a special day. And I'm so glad that someone upstairs made it so beautiful for us today.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I love you.
Love
Thank
you
you for.
too, sweetheart. Bye bye, you guys.
As you can see, I think I've trained them too well to be in front of the camera and hold the microphone. People want to take my job. Do not take my job. For those of you watching, welcome. It is 3:30. Our reading of names, our memorial starts at 4 o'clock. So please stick around for that. Um, we have more folks joining us right now. Wayne is taking pictures. Adriana is networking and socializing. I'm Daniel G. Garza, your host for the next hour and a half. It is World AIDS Day 2024 here in Main Beach, Laguna Beach. We're at the Cobblestone. So if you're in the area, oh, Dr. Jones said, here's Karen. We're going to come on over here, Doctor.
Daniel, as always, it is so nice to see you.
How you doing?
I'm doing just great. And part of the reason is because you bring so much attention to the effort of treating, identifying, and eradicating HIV AIDS as a leading killer of gay men like me. So
Well,
I'm glad you're here.
Thank
Thank you.
For those of you that have watched us through the years, Dr. Jorgensen was my first doctor when I moved to Laguna Beach. He has since retired, but is very active in the community. He's a part of the board of the Laguna Beach Advisory Committee. So I'm not going to ask you all of the scientific questions because people can Google most of
Yeah,
that.
Sure.
But something you just said, that it's still the leading killer for gay men. Why, after 40 plus years and all of the information that we have in the LGBTQIA community, are we still being so affected by it?
That's a question that I get asked a fair amount, and I don't make any excuses, but I also bring people's attention to the fact that we've known where babies come from for thousands of years, and we still have one hell of a lot of unwanted pregnancies. So, no offense, but it happens, and sex is not always a logical decision, and sometimes we put ourselves at risk.
So, as part of the older generation, because I'm 53 now, I feel like I'm older now. I'm not wiser or more mature, but I'm definitely older. As the older generation, what can we do? Because the numbers for the younger generation are still rising. Are we missing something? Are we not doing something?
I think HIV has lost its immediacy because we don't see people dying of it. I have to say, though, for anyone who hears this, you may not die of it, but my God, it's going to really affect your life, and it's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's going to cost you a lot of time. So best if you just don't get it.
So over the years, I'm sure that you saw the mental health aspect of it. You saw the physical aspect of it. What about the spiritual side of long-term survivors? What did you see during your time working at the Laguna Beach Community Clinic?
That's a tough time for me to think about because of the death rate was so high. So I think I'll have to answer that later.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you for bringing it up, though.
Yeah, well, it's days like today that I always feel like it's an and day. It's a day where we remember those that we have lost, and we've all lost. But it's also a day to celebrate those that we're still here and thriving. And for me, that 24 years in, I didn't think I was gonna make it past the first year.
I think you are uniquely positioned to celebrate that, because you are much of the solution. You're out there educating people and testing people and encouraging treatment. So my hat's off to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Well,
To you.
thank you. It was one of those things where necessity. I didn't know what I should have known at 29 when I was diagnosed. So now I'm making sure that people, by the time they get to 29, the age that I was diagnosed, that they know these things. What do you wish the younger generation knew right now about I don't want to sound dramatic, about the horrors of HIV?
Motivating people's abstinence through fear has never worked. It didn't work for alcoholism. It doesn't work for HIV. What I think does work is educating them about what some of the negative aspects are of being HIV positive. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of doctor appointments. It's a lot of pills. So it's with you all the time. So that's what you escape by not getting HIV positive. And if you get HIV positive, treatment will allow you to live your normal life expectancy with very few side effects. Not zero side effects, but very few.
If you could drop a question in the middle of a conversation for people to talk about HIV, what would be the question that you would ask somebody?
Have you ever had sex?
Oh,
Because most people say, well, that doesn't affect me. But I would say, have you ever had sex? Now, that's going to get everybody's attention, because if you have ever had sex, you have some risk.
excellent. Doctor, thank you so much.
Yes,
I just love you.
And I love you, particularly your role here as an educator.
My pleasure. Thank you, Doc. You know, it's not embarrassing. So we'll leave the question there on the table. We still got more show, but we'll leave you the question. Have you ever had sex? Because if you do, you might have, if you weren't taking care of yourself, you might have been exposed to not just HIV, but STIs and STDs. So have you ever had sex? And if you did, were you protected? Were you taking care of yourself? Have you asked your partners, have you ever had sex? Have you ever gotten tested? And if you did, how long ago were you tested? So let's start asking those questions. What questions would you have for a doctor, for Adriana, for nurses, for me, for long-term survivors? What questions would you have for somebody that's lived with it for so long, and how it affects us mentally, physically, and spiritually? If you're watching this live, I'd love to hear your questions. If you're watching us on replay, leave the questions and I'll make sure we get an answer for you. We have somebody else coming in. Well, hello there. Hello. Come on over. All these top people, all these people are so short. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I love the sweater.
Oh, come here, give me a hug.
How you been?
I've been good. Yeah? I've been good. The family's healthy. We moved my mom down
from you
from
back a couple of steps because you're tall and they can't.
I'm sorry.
There you go. Can you come shorter next year? Just
I could just do this.
So for the people that don't remember you from last year, who didn't watch last year, tell them who you are and what are you doing here?
My name is BJ Pugh. I'm a local pastor, and this is actually my 17th year.
Wow.
My first year was 2008. And I had just got here, moved here, and I was asked, and then shortly after, joined the HIV/AIDS Advisory Committee. And it's been one of the things I look forward to every year is this event, because it's such a time when people think that, it's over. And they're just moving on, and there's so many people who are still impacted, and there's so much hurt that's still associated, and there's still some shame for people, and it just is a wonderful opportunity to let them know this is an opportunity to share our love, and for those who are suffering with it, for those who have passed, and for the families who just really need to know that we're still caring for their loved ones too.
So now that you brought up your first time 17 years ago.
Yeah.
When you were asked, can you remember what you knew about HIV and what you felt when they read the names for the first time?
I did know about HIV. I had studied it somewhat, and I had some friends who were HIV positive, and actually one who died from AIDS. So, but I had never been to a World AIDS Day, and I had never seen the quilts.
Oh wow.
And the first time when they read the names, it's like, wait a minute. So because they go 1, 1, 1, 1, then they go back around, and, learned a little bit more about the symbolism. And the more you know, the deeper it gets. And there's intentionality behind everything that's being done. And when you ritualize it, you make it sacred and you bring everybody into that sacredness. And that's what this day is really about.
So when they asked you to come back the next year, and now that you knew what was involved in the memorial and the event, did you say yes right away, or did you have to think about it?
Oh, no. I said, hell yes.
See, folks, hell is not so bad if a religious person says it.
Hell yes.
So what did bring you back?
You know, it's an honor to be with people who care. There's so many people you meet, and you know they've got passing interests, and you know it may be surfing, it may be carpentry, it may be this, but if what you care about is making sure that everybody is taken care of, and that people know that there are people that love them and share that, I mean that is. You know, and I used to do Strengths for the Journey, which is a camp, you know, a lot of HIV positive people there as well. But it's an opportunity to give back, and to, you know, and it's such a joy to be able to be around people who just want to be loved.
I mean, physically, we know what the names represent.
Yeah.
We are honoring somebody who's no longer with us.
Right.
As a pastor,
Yep.
Spiritually, what do those names represent?
Those names represent the end of a long journey that people typically spend in pain. And there are loved ones, God love them, that just, you know, say, well, what you did was wrong and God condemns it. And I know when they get to the other side, God is there with open arms. And those are the ones that God just wraps and embrace the most. And that for me is what I celebrate, knowing that no matter how horrible the end was, what comes after the end here is just love. Just love. Just love.
I will not cry this year. I will not cry this year.
That's what it's about for me.
For the people we're going through, we're not going to get political, but we're going through some transitions for next year. And some of those ideas that we had 4 years ago are popping up about HIV, the gay community, religion. People are so afraid of having the conversations, and then are sometimes the people that come to the clinics because they're diagnosed. To people who are afraid of having those conversations, what would you say to them?
This is an opportunity to lean in, not just to when it's easy, but when it's hard. So the administration that's coming into the White House soon will not have a very forward-looking view on HIV, AIDS, particularly with this association with the LGBTQ community and trans. And it's just, we need to stand up and say, no, you do not represent who we are. You do not represent what we are about, and we will stand at our watch post and we will listen for a vision, because it will be made clear, and then we will speak that, and we will continue to say God is love, and we will love who God loves, and we will tell you when you're wrong. When you say God doesn't love something that God loves, and we'll say no. And if you do that with love, and you say, let's have a conversation, and then let's celebrate those who can go to the clinic and who can have those courageous conversations. And we just, it's a time to buckle down, you know, to double down, to really re-engage and commit ourselves to saying, no, everybody belongs or nobody belongs. Everybody belongs or nobody does.
So you heard it here, folks. It's time to double down. Dude, I know a lot of us are saying, I'm throwing my hands in the air, I'm leaving the country, I'm not doing it. No, this is the time to come together even stronger and put ourselves out there, because as people who work in the HIV community and are affected or living with, it's a time for us to say, this is what I deserve as a human.
That's right.
And I'm going to fight for it.
That's
So
That's
thank you
right.
so much for being here.
That's
I sure
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. So you'll be hearing more from him later as we go into the second hour of the show. So I'll let you go and mingle and talk about it. Thank you. Uh, for those of you that are joining us, just so you know, there are approximately 1.2 million people living with HIV in the United States at the moment. I think, and I forget this, I forgot to write down the numbers, but I think it's one in every three and one in every four men, one in every three women are living with HIV. Don't quote me on those numbers because I forgot my paperwork. But the numbers are still rising, particularly in young people and females, cisgender, straight women, particularly women between the ages of 18 and I think it's 36, and young people between the ages of 13 and 18. So, like Dr. Jorgensen said earlier, the question of the day is, have you had sex? And if you had, then it's time to go get a test. It is right now, it is 3:45. The reading of the name starts at 4 o'clock. Also, if you saw, I put on my ribbon, the red ribbon. The red ribbon was first brought up in 1989, I believe. Again, I so apologize. I was being lazy and I forgot my notes. But you can go check out my Facebook page, on my LinkedIn, on my YouTube, and there's a video there with all the information about the red ribbon. But red represents passion, love, anger. It's all the emotions put together, and this is why you see some of us wearing red tonight, and this is why I've changed the title to red today to honor that and to put the ribbon together. I don't see any questions or any comments, so we're gonna. We have 15 minutes to go. Hi, Wayne. Let me see if I can get somebody else over. I want to get Sandy, but she's sometimes difficult to get over here. You know what? When people come around, I'm going to turn around and show you Laguna Beach a little bit, and I'll get out of the way so you can see Laguna. There's Laguna right there, and my shoelaces are untied. That's Laguna Beach right now, folks. This is what we get to see on a daily basis, almost. If we came to the beach a little more, but this is Laguna Beach. There's volleyball players. There is the. Let me show you. There is the. Oh, we're seeing an argument. That is not part of the show, folks. But there's there's the tower, the lighthouse in Laguna Beach. People are playing volleyball. There is a. Thank you, Wayne. There's a little rally, a little protest going on today, and there seems to be a little bit of engagement. We're not going to get into it, but if it got worse, we would have turned the camera around, of course. But that's not what we're about today. So, with that said, welcome back to the show. The whole beach. We don't get a lot of that around here. It is 3:48. Let me see if I can get somebody else. I don't know if you can see behind me the table with the hearts, and I think they're about to put up the tree. I'm going to ask in a minute. We usually have the tree of names. There's waters. I wonder if my friend Lee can get me a water by any chance. I'm going to ask him in just a second. You see the hearts laying on the table. I'm going to see if I can move over there closer. And okay, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are at, it is December. It's December 1st, 2024. We're at the Cobblestone Park in Main Beach here in Laguna Beach, California. It is World AIDS Day 2024, hosted by the Laguna Beach HIV Advisory Committee. I'm your host, Daniel G. Garza. I'm a long-term survivor. Thank you. Cool, thank you. Today's one of those days. Pardon me, folks. I am a 24-year HIV survivor. Today is the 24th World AIDS Day that I have been part of since I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed in September of 2000. I was 29 years old. I was dating. I was living. I have to admit, I was also an alcoholic and drug addict, and that had something to do with my the rapidness of my diagnosis. By the time that I was diagnosed with AIDS. My T cell count was 108. I weighed 110 pounds at that time. I was so sick that they didn't think I was going to make it. For those, I was raised Catholic. If you're Catholic, you know if they send a priest to your hospital, then you're probably not going to make it. But shock is a disclaimer. I did make it. Something happened to my phone. Let me see. Okay, there we go. I did make it. I survived. And that March of 2001 is when I started doing my advocacy work. I've since continued doing advocacy work. I also am a anal cancer survivor. I live with a stoma, and I battle my mental health. I was diagnosed with PTSD due to health issues in 2018, only because not only, but because I was dealing with so much stuff since I was a baby. How I was diagnosed, people ask, most likely it was sexually. Being young and not talking about sexuality within my family, not talking about protection, condoms, taking care of myself. I came out when I was 17, and I think at that point when the conversation you have with your dad, I think my dad figured since I was gay that I didn't have to have the conversation. I wasn't going to get a girl pregnant. There was no risk of that. So he just thought a conversation wasn't needed. So I never was taught how to use a condom, how to protect myself, how to be safe. And so for those of you parents out there who have young people in their lives who are coming out, that sex conversation is still important. It's needed. Even more so because as a young gay man, not having mentors, people to look up to, people that could guide gay life, I was out not protecting myself, not taking care of myself. So parents, if you're listening and you have a gay son, which is, I can't talk about other parts of the alphabet, but if you have a gay son and they come out to you, please have the sex talk. Get educated, learn yourself, learn about protection, and teach them about it. You might have to learn things that wasn't part of your bingo card as a parent, but hey, you got that mystery box, and this is what you get. So, as somebody who went through it, I just recommend please learn the how-tos of sex, gay sex life, so you can teach your children better. Yeah. You want to comment on something? Oh, yeah, come on over.
So in
Lee's back.
Yeah, I'm back. I just don't know when to be quiet. No, in retrospect of what, in conjunction with what you're saying, I'm not defending myself. It's just the fact that it can happen the first time. I didn't know how to be gay. Those things didn't exist where I came from. And then I had a friend, and I trusted that friend, and that's something that why I stress, education from parents, children, straight, gay, otherwise, it affects us all. And as you were saying, you didn't care. You didn't protect yourself. I didn't know. And that's not, in the law, that's no excuse. But then again, I was with someone I trusted who to this day still denies the fact. So it's there, and it's well worth the education.
Yeah. It teaches us something. Don't you don't have to go away, but because I think even even gay friends that I know who are living with HIV this morning, and who had a good family, who had a trusting family, who had those conversations. I make it light because there's no other way to say it sometimes. Gay side of them was seeking a connection. And I found literally, I found out about sex life from seats of cars.
Yeah.
and that was my teacher.
That, well, after the fact, that was my teacher. And then again, I trusted people. I had a problem with trusting people. I trusted too much, and so I just never thought to ask. I never thought to educate myself. And I always thought I was being safe, but there's no limit to safety. But by the same token, you still have to.
Disconnect the clock and it's still running. So I'm gonna guess that you are still. I don't know how much you missed, and I apologize because he was on a good little rant right there. So let me tell you. But you know what? I don't want to end this hour because we are about 3 minutes in. I want to something positive, not necessarily about being HIV positive, but something positive about your life. Something that you know what? I've made it this far. Yes.
I've made it this far, and I have a wonderful son who is my heart and my life, and he was a large reason to hold up my strength. The people I've met throughout these last 39 years, and up until a few years ago, my son was always with me for Easter, and not knowing that was the catalyst was my survival and my family, those that accepted me and loved me, and my extended family, and my faith. And I think that's those were the most positive things that remain with me today. So
thank you. All right, we're going to start moving over and figure out where we're going to be. We don't have the names this year. I mean, we don't have the tree this year, but I want to move y'all over. That's my water. I want to move y'all over. Hi, gentlemen. So you can see the. I'm going to tilt the camera so you can see the table with the names. Those represent people's names that are no longer with us. If you see some of the members that have the pink sheets with them, those are the names of we'll be reading out today. I don't know that we're necessarily going to do the candle because it's daytime still today, but I'm going to keep talking so you guys can see what they're doing. And we're down, folks.
I didn't need it.
No, you saved it actually. All I can do is
This is live TV, folks. This is live TV.
No magic is made. One time, parking structure.
There we go. Sorry about that. Thank you. I hope you don't have a movement. Was it when you were on the boat?
Oh yeah.
Seasickness? No, not seasick. You know what I'm talking about. I'm looking at Wayne like Wayne's supposed to know everything that I'm thinking. How do you not know what I'm thinking, Wayne? Look at the words in my head and tell them to say them out loud. I'm gonna try and move the microphone. I got fancy this year. I have a microphone stand.
One brief flicker was still open. I went in there to get
We're gonna set up the microphone so that BJ can talk and you can hear him better this year than you did last year. But I had to raise the microphone because she's taller than me. So
Everyone's taller than you, Dick.
how dare you, sir? The audacity.
The audacity.
I get no respect here, I tell you. So you guys are watching behind the scenes rearranging of things. So is that tall enough here?
That's fine. Yeah.
I've got a pretty good mic too. So
Yeah.
so while you folks are watching, we are getting set up.
James. Did you ever get your health termite?
Yes. Yeah, we did. I should have sent somebody to take a picture because we were in Cabo the entire time, and say like, oh, enjoy this.
We're getting ready for Christmas.
We're getting ready. Or Mardi Gras or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that where you want it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Over there?
Back a little bit. Where is Sandy? Sandy, can you come over here, please? On this side?
Sandy, I
help
couldn't
him
call you.
hold.
I forgot my phone. To let you know I was coming. Come hold my boa. Off my phone.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Go, Bob.
There you go. There we go. Okay. And then we're gonna.
Hey, Brianna, I
Yes,
didn't
sir.
get a roster.
I'm sorry.
I didn't get a roster name.
We've got all the readers already.
Oh, okay.
We're okay. Thank you.
In that case, I'm going to change places. Over here. That's it. Right over by James.
Okay.
That way, your booming baritone will be separated out.
Okay. I'm not scared of a camera.
Good. Okay.
We're gonna share this. I'm gonna
Okay.
say Tom H. And you say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now point to you. Or that way it's boy, girl, boy, girl. Perfect. Yes, ma'am.
I could be transgender.
I know you could. That'd be great.
Prove it.
Whoa. We got a small circle, but that's okay. This way the sun's on our back and helps us with. Are you okay? Do you need to be over here? Okay. BJ, would you? Where's Dan?
Dan's over
Oh.
there. Dan's over there.
Oh, okay. No worries. Dan needs to eat and drink. He's been talking.
He's taking care of the important stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
So thank you all for coming. This is fantastic. Once again, we meet on such a special occasion. I want to thank everyone, especially those that came from far away, LA, Mission Viejo, Winter Hills, top of the world. Thank you all. North Laguna, and for all those wonderful audience in New Mexico, Texas, California. I thought I saw Oregon. This is wonderful, and this is courtesy of the talents of Dan. And thank you, Wayne, for the beautiful photographies and for always being committed to coming and joining us. We certainly appreciate you. Thank you all. And now we're going to let our wonderful MC start the candlelight vigil for 2020.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. And I was on the drive down, I thought, this is my 17th time because I came to Laguna in 2008 in November. And I don't know if it was Sandy or if it was Corey, but somebody said, hey, we do World AIDS Day or memorial service on the cobblestone. Would you be willing to participate? I was like, yeah. And then the next year, oddly enough, they invited me back. And I thought, wow, yeah, absolutely. And it's been, talking to Daniel, being interviewed a little bit, it is interesting how this occasion has changed, particularly after the pandemic when people's attention has moved to other things. And yet there is something that is so deep about what it took as an effort by this nation and this community to say this is affecting us profoundly and we are going to grab it and we are going to not let go until we have some help and that people know that they are loved and they are remembered. And, the sun setting over the Pacific on this day when sometimes I have this on and a jacket and I'm still cold, but I'm standing next to Sandy St. John, and so I'm never cold when I'm next to Sandy St. John. And God is smiling on us, and I think encouraging us to rededicate ourselves to those that we have loved and those that we have supported and those that we have lost. Because there are those that we remember died during a terrible, terrible time, and many were so alone, and their families weren't with them. And this is kind of a way of remembering and kind of healing some of that hurt and making sure that we commit ourselves to um, keeping going and supporting one another in the next generation because it's still yeah, there you go. So let's read some names.
Start. Go ahead, Tom.
Augusta E.
Joe T.
Elliot S.
Tom H.
Tom K.
Albert Z.
John B.
Alicio H.
Tom P.
Surya A.
Alexander B.
John C.
Tom.
Eloy G.
Tom Q.
William T.
Amos A.
John N.
Eric O.
William S.
Tom W.
Andrew C.
John M.
Eric P.
Zuhair A.
Victor A.
Anthony B.
John F.
Eric W.
Victor B.
Walter H.
Arnold C.
John S.
Eugene C.
Victor O.
Walter P.
Art G.
John T.
Frederico R.
Vince C.
Wayne P.
Veronica M.
John M.
Fleming B.
Wayne Scott B.
William N.
Bill C.
Joseph L.
Lloyd F.
Wesley B.
William S.
Bill M.
Joseph M.
Frank N.
Stephen H.
Bob H.
Ryan. I'm sorry. Julius O.
Frank R.
Lee C.
Brett C.
Keith S.
Brad W.
Stephen H.
Brett E.
Ken S.
Gary B.
John T.
Brian A.
Event. Kent H.
Gary D.
Joseph M.
Brian E.
I'm sorry. Larry S.
Gary E.
Brian M.
Larry F.
Gary P.
Bruce G.
Lee D.
Gary Y.
Bruce W.
Lee H.
George F.
Buddy S.
Lee U.
George P.
Calvin J.
Lewis R.
Gerard F.
Candy R.
Lauren
Gordon W.
Charles M.
Mark P.
Graham H.
Charles O.
Mark L.
Greg B.
Christopher K.
Mark G.
Greg C.
Christopher M.
Mark L.
Greg D.
Chuck B.
Mark
Gregor,
M.
sorry, Gregory M.
Clifford R.
Mark T.
Ian F.
Courtney J.
Martin L.
Ignacio G.
Dana E.
Matthew T.
Jamal B.
Darren K.
Michael C.
James F.
David G.
Michael D.
James H.
David N.
Michael F.
James S.
David T.
Michael G.
Jan N.
Dean S.
Michael J.
J S.
Denise L.
Michael O.
Jeanette T.
Dennis C.
Michael P.
Jeff Q.
Dennis L.
Michael S.
Jeffrey B.
Dolores E.
Miguel C.
Jeremy M.
Dominique M.
Mitch S.
Jeremiah F.
Donald H.
Mitchell S.
Jerry A.
Donald S.
Morton F.
Jerry D.
Don D.
Nadine E.
Jerry G.
Douglas C.
Norm M.
Jess C.
Drew B.
Norman V.
Jess L.
Drew R.
Paul A.
Jesus G. Ricardo G.
Paul R.
Jesus M. Edward A.
Peggy B.
Jim C. Edward B. Jim O. Jim G. Jim M.
Names of those that we have lost that aren't on the list. Invite you to
John L.
Steve H. Lee C. Joey H.
The other John L.
Stephanie P.
Philip. Malcolm.
Leon C.
John T.
Yeah. Let's take a moment, and every year we cut hearts. Normally we put them on the tree, but I want you to close your eyes and visualize a tree that all of the hearts that we could have written for all the people who have passed from HIV/AIDS, and bring into this circle everyone in the city and in the communities that we live, to invite them to be blessed by the lives of those who have gone before us and the love that we have for them, that they might be touched in a way that they might not understand, but just bring them in our communities into a fellowship of love and a commitment to be with one another, to reach out to one another, to be our best selves, and to give back what we can. May the Spirit of God bless us. May the Spirit of peace make us whole. May the Spirit of wisdom show us what we can do and how to do. May the Spirit of hope and joy lead us from this place into our lives and into a world that needs our love. Amen.
Amen.
Both folks.
Thank you, Lupe. Yes, thank you.
That concludes today's events. We probably stick around and socialize a bit. So we take a look at them. I'm gonna let you enjoy the sunset, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
While we take a group picture.
Can we get in? Can we get a group picture, please?
The more that we can be like, yeah, like this, that way you guys aren't directly facing each other. Yes, yeah, out a little bit more, perfect. If you step back, and then face me more directly. Perfect. And then whoever else is in it, that's perfect. So we'll have good light. You guys won't be squinting too bad. Okay. Well, I could do a little Photoshop too. You know, take 20 years off here, 20 years. I love it. All right, big smiles looking right down the lens. 1, 2, 3, and we'll take a few. Beautiful. Of course.
So I'm going to leave you folks. I know we're supposed to go 5, but it's a small group today. Again, my name is Daniel G. Garza. It is World AIDS Day 2024 with Cobblestone Park and Main Beach in Laguna Beach. This event has been hosted by the Laguna Beach HIV Advisory Committee in conjunction with the City of Laguna Beach. Thank you very much for joining us to this time. If you have a name and you would like to add it to next year's list, please drop it on the comments of any of the pages you're watching on, and we'll make sure to add them on. Personally, I want to thank y'all. My camera. Thank you so much for joining us. I had to move the camera over. There we go. Thank you so much for joining us. It is an honor to host this every year. And so long as I am alive, I will do my best to bring you World AIDS Day. Please follow us here on Little Mix-Up Productions for all of the other shows on the air. On Mondays, you can catch the Crab and Goat Show doing readings online. On Wednesdays is the Kristen and Daniel Show, our weekly talk show. And on Saturdays is putting together a live stream with interesting interviews brought to you live. Remember, all our shows are live, so you can comment and be part of the event. For now, I want to thank you on behalf of Little Mexican Productions. Have a great one, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.